Recently I listened to the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. At times we have that notion of Yoweri Museveni as a dictator who has ruled Uganda for a long time. Nothing will come out of him. But when you listen to that man, he has a lot of wisdom. He's a man who's supposed to be an African, but some of the things which he developed about stifling democracy in Uganda has really clouded his message. And that is clearly true even when we talk about people like Muammar Gaddafi. When you listen to Muammar Gaddafi had that good message, but the message was lost. He raised, when he was drumming for support for Raila Odinga for the chairmanship of African Union, and I think he raised pertinent issues what Africans need to do. And there was one particular thing which he talked, which I would like you to listen from this soundbite.
Peace. So that's why our second element, our second strategic mission in our movement is the issue of strategic security. How can Africa ensure its strategic security? We are here. Some people have gone to the moon. Have you heard of people who have gone to the moon? There are 4 people in the world who have gone to the moon. The Americans have gone there. The Russians, the Chinese, and the Indians recently. For us, we are here. Those people are on the moon. You know, when I was fighting, I could hide in the forest. And if this is the hill, somebody on the side will not see me when I'm hiding here. But if somebody is on the moon and you are here, he's looking at you, and you don't even know that he's looking at you. We are like ants. Hivi vidudu vinakula sukari huko hapo, mtu anaviangalia, havijui kwamba anaviangalia. You can bring doom, you can bring insects. This is not acceptable. And this is all caused by us, by the ideological bankruptcy of the people who want to manage Africa's affairs. Africa is very strong. We defeated the Europeans here by war, not just by talking. The Mau Mau in Kenya here, the Algerians, Samara Machel, supported by Mwalimu and by Kaunda, defeated the Portuguese army, total defeat. In 1974, I was involved in those fights.
You know, it is very amazing. It's amazing how visionary Yoweri Museveni. This is a new awakening in Africa. That, as he said, that other people have gone to the moon. He said 4 people have gone to the moon, but might have forgotten other people who have also gone to the moon, like the Europeans and the Japanese. The moon is cluttered. I mean, the universe is cluttered. We have satellites now, a lot of satellites in the moon. Just see. these are the people who have satellites going around the moon every day. We have GPS for the United States, QZSS, that is for Japan. Then we have Beidou, that's for China. IRNSS, that is for India. GLONASS is for Russia. Galileo is for Europe. All of these are going around the moon. Not actually the moon is going around there. We will say is simply all of these satellites. You see, for example, that one is the Japanese satellites, which are going around the moon. That's around our Earth. So on space, they are on constant move, taking pictures every minute of the whole world. That is how you can see. That's how, as the Earth is rotating, they are taking pictures every minute. That's where they have brought this one we have now, like where we get our location, like Google. You put Google, you get your time, you get they have gone. And I thought this is where Africa is the only continent which has been left behind. African Union should start we should have our own space exploration where we need to put our satellites on the moon. Because how did these other people put, if India, for example, that is India's aerospace, they are going around. They have put several satellites. So why are we not able to put ours on the moon? Because basically, if you look, GPS, that is for United States, has these satellites going around us. GLONASS, this is from Russia. It has 25 going around. Galileo of Europe, it has this. So these are the ones which are doing all of this navigation. China has 29 satellites operating. As by 2023, they were all operating in the moon. What is wrong with Africa? Why are we not being represented? And yet this is a big and large continent, which I thought people may think Museveni is one of a very visionary leader, although his suppression of Uganda and not allowing for democracy to take place is hard. So, as he was saying that when he was fighting in the 80s, he could hide in the forest, but he would be seen. He says, now we are like ants. They see us. That is true. Take, for example, the Chinese satellite. That is the Chinese satellites. All of those satellites are up in space and they are just pointing at us. They will take pictures even close and they will know what activities we are doing all of the time. So that is very true, as he was explaining that. Africa does not have a satellite on space. While the other countries, like in the United States, we have many countries which have all this. So wherever you see in space, you can see that that is a Galileo satellite navigation system for Europe. So they all world, all of them are just going around. Not that they are taking pictures all the time. What is really wrong with Africa? We are paying for all of the GPS, all of the navigation system, because we pay them. China, when they started to have their own space and they were being controlled by companies, they were paid billions of money every year. So these countries are paying. Whatever you see here, we are using the GPS, we are using this Google map. Many countries are reaping while Africa is sleeping. Because, see, like The satellites are used for communication where the ship which is in the sea must know its coordinates. And all these things are coordinated. The satellites are the one which triangulate and set where these are. Imagine all of those are done by other countries, other continents, but not Africa. So it should be a wake-up call for African Union that they should also think of how they are going to expand our global reach, that we are able to take our satellites. We have our aerospace where we can take satellites to the moon, and then we can also reap the benefits of these services, because this is where money is, and this is where we need to have. Now, take for example, Elon Musk, as is Starlink, which I saw they want to bring to Kenya. He has a lot of this in the air, which is the one now being tested for this. There are so many of them going around. And this is an individual who's having all of this. Now, when you see in this exploration, you will see Starlink alone has 42,000 satellites now going around. An individual can do that, while Africa cannot even send one in the moon. Surely, all of those are going through space. So, in echoing the words of Yoweri Museveni, this is in a new dimension that Africa needs to gear up, and this is where Africa needs visionary leaders to speed the country to attain space exploration, that we should have our own satellites also going around the earth, giving us our own intelligence information instead of following. Because if we are passing every second, they are going around, taking all this around. We should really need to have our own. I thought that was the most wise thing I heard from Yoweri Museveni, and I hope Africa will wake up.